Hi everyone, my name is Erdem Idil. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of History at the University of Toronto. I'll be joining ANAMED this year as a PhD fellow to pursue my dissertation project tentatively titled Intimate Histories of the Venetian and Ottoman Empires Away from 18th Century Istanbul. Before elaborating on my project, I'd like to say a few words about my background. I completed a BA in Political Science and International Relations at Istanbul University and an MA in History at Boğaziçi University. In my MA thesis, I worked on the interconnections between politics and space in early modern Istanbul with an emphasis on the relocations of non-Muslims in the city. During my PhD at the University of Toronto, I extended my focus to the early modern Mediterranean and designed my coursework around the fields that I have been interested in, such as urban history, historical anthropology, social histories of food and medicine, and archive studies, all of which helped shape the backbone of my dissertation. Now, on to my project. In my dissertation project, I seek to understand how subjects who operated under both Ottoman and Venetian jurisdictions, ambassadors, dragomans, military officials, merchants, and their families, inhabited and mediated textual, spatial, material, and social forms of intimacy in 18th century Istanbul. By following the circulation of people, documents, and goods across the two empires, I explored the intimate relations and everyday matters of such subjects who resided in and passed through the city. My project refers to the concept of intimacy to account for not only the erotic and romantic connotations of the term, but also its textual, spatial, material, and social implications. While engaging with a rich scholarship on the politics of household, kinship, sexuality, and gender, my research offers an expanded perspective on these themes by bringing into conversation new archival materials from both Venetian and Ottoman archives. I lay out the foundations of my study by tracing the circulation of documents between the Ottoman and Venetian regimes of paper. Here, I question how inter-imperial intimacy, placemaking, and mobility can be studied through the production and circulation of documents into and out of the port. By placing Ottoman and Italian records side by side, I analyze the mutability of the categories and nomenclature used in documents and their translations. By closely scrutinizing translation practices, I show how Ottoman terms pertaining to the social-legal lexicon of everyday matters were rendered into Italian. After tackling the textual intimacies, I turn to spaces of intimacies. I examine miscellaneous rescripts that consist of orders concerning the accommodation and everyday expenses of the subjects affiliated with the Venetian officialdom in Istanbul. Among these, I focus specifically on the ones that mention the whereabouts of subjects within the city. By converting this textual data into a map of spaces around which these mobile subjects built their intimate lives, I revised the generic and Eurocentric understanding of spatiality that has limited individuals to the premises of the official by-light compounds. I then look at the court records that complement rescripts and orders concerning intimate and everyday matters. Sifting through the understudied registers of the Tophane Court, imperial orders, and registers of foreigners' affairs, I work on the cases addressing the circulation of materials and consumption items, such as alcohol, that were inquired about and ordered by subjects employed by or juridically belonging to Venice. To better capture the nature of the relationship between the documents and quotidian matters, I put these documents in conversation with their Venetian counterparts. I examined documents such as letters, cash registers, and expense books that by-light personnel sent to their superiors in Venice. These documents not only present a list of goods and items requested from abroad, but many also contain detailed information about individuals' everyday lives. Likewise, dispatch records to and from Istanbul, in which dragomans reported the news to Venice, provide sensitive information about intimate matters. Leveraging the social histories of space and food in these sources, my research uncovers why these subjects who belong to different socioeconomic backgrounds ordered certain kinds of goods, food items, and alcohol, and how these items related to their sense of belonging as they moved about their lives. To investigate further this relationality between subjects and locales, I delve into kinship, familial, and social relations. For instance, one document from the State Archive reveals that a Venetian consul's wife tried to poison her husband and ran away with their children only to convert to Islam and escape Venetian jurisdiction. Cases like this not only reveal how forms and forms of intimacy were negotiated through a delicate interplay between Venetian and Ottoman jurisdictions, but also point to the centrality of subjecthood, confessional, and gender identities in mediating intimate affairs in Ottoman domains. Switching my focus to the social and familial networks within the city, I look at birth, wedding, and mortuary records from the churches of Galata. These sources facilitate research into the unidentified familial connections that subjects established through marriage alliances with other members of the Latin Rite community and resident non-Muslims in Istanbul. Such mapping of social and conjugal networks that subjects build to expand their intimate worlds also questions whether these subjects became part of existing or claimed their own spaces and forms of sociability in specific parts of the city. I guess that's all about my research. As it tells the intimate history of the two empires, my project requires multi-site approach to archival research. I have recently concluded my research in Venice at the State Archives, and now I'm ready to continue my archival work in Istanbul. Starting with my residency at ANAMED, I'll be regularly visiting Ottoman archives in Istanbul to collect and work on the materials that are crucial to bringing my dissertation to completion. I am very excited to be part of the intellectually stimulating environment at ANAMED, where I hope to learn from and contribute to the works of other fellow researchers. Thank you for listening.